our chief guest, the resource persons session, and the second day of the faculty development program. Dr. Frederick Ruby Helen is amidst us for the past 2 days, and an add-on, she was actually unwell on the first day, but we wanted to just postpone the day of the FTP. But Madam said, no, I will manage. And for the thirst of the knowledge, she pacified and she satiated our hunger and thirst of knowledge. Thank you very much, ma'am. In spite of your busy schedule as well as your health issues, you joined us and you served the purpose. Thank you so much. Yesterday's session was thought provoking, interesting, and informative, which the other sessions actually failed to do it. And your session actually re insisted or reinforced the thought that AI will never replace us. But if we fail to upskill or reskill with AI, people with AI will definitely replace us. So, with the thought, without much ado, let us go to today's session. Madam, the session is yours. Please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful words and encouragement. That was really good. Once again, my heartfelt greetings of the day and a very good evening to all the dignitaries who are on this platform. And my special greetings to Dr. Kargurli ma'am and the organizing team, the convener. Probably she's taking so much of pains for everyday session, I know. And so I'm so delighted to once again start off my presentation. So let's get into the PPT. So is the presentation visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
So
you.
today we are going to dwell on the topic reimagining the English classroom, of course, the role of AI in language pedagogy. So, to put this particular topic into a nutshell, I would say now we should all have the real power of fantasy, or we have to imagine how the AI is going to be in the near future. And so we have to visualize how our classrooms are going to be with this new thing coming up. So, to begin with, I think we all have pondered much yesterday itself regarding AI and the technological growth and so on. The landscape of education, we all know, is undergoing a profound transformation with this something called as artificial intelligence. So we know, as the word implies, the very word says it's going to be what? Artificial intelligence. So I think with that profound note of a positivity, let's all just boost in our own energies to say it is just, after all, artificial intelligence, which is going to be an emerging or a powerful force, reshaping, of course, the knowledge and how we are going to deliver it, how we are going to assess, and of course, internalize all these facts into our classroom atmosphere. Now, so we do understand that there is going to be a tremendous shift, of course, more evident, especially in the language classrooms, where traditional methods of instructions were just centering on textbooks, grammar drills, and teacher led discussions, which is just going to be a slight turnover or a shift of being refined or redefined by the capabilities of intelligent technologies. So, we are going to step into this digital fluency of a period of time. So, of course, the AI tools with which we are going to really go and proceed into the classrooms, as they are going to be what are the way we are going to, sort of equip ourselves. We have to equip ourselves with so many tools which we can really utilize into our classroom atmosphere. Of course, processing systems, language processing systems. Yesterday also I had been to this Nandanam campus of our Savita University, and I was really wondering the way they had re-equipped, the language labs. And there was one professor who was in charge of that particular lab, and he was just trying to, explain, and I could decipher a bit of it. Anyhow, so what are all the language processing systems that we are going to ponder on? The speech recognition engines and the adaptive learning platforms, which are just going to be enabling us to be more personalized, interactive, as well as data driven approaches to the English instruction. So, this is the key word that we have to understand in the process of going to handle this AI. And then these innovations, what are they going to do actually? They promise to enhance not only the efficiency of the language, but also the acquisition, as well as how we are going to involve the students' engagement, their motivation. We have to kindle their motivation, and of course, self directed learning methodology. At the same time, they raise critical pedagogical and ethical questions about the role of the teacher, the nature of the language learning, and the equitable distribution of educational resources. This reimagining of the English classrooms, it's going to invite educators, not only just we as educators, the researchers, the policymakers, and all these people who are going to reconsider the long held assumptions about teaching and learning. So, as I said, we are going to just kindle their motivation level of learning, the pedagogy of learning, and also the ethical mannerism, because they should know how much they have to hold themselves up to the usage or the ethical usage of these tools and other things than forgetting the teachers. It calls for a new framework, certainly, in which human and machine collaboration enhances the educational experience while preserving the inherently social and the cultural dimensions of the language. So, as I said, this is the process that we are going to really look into. What happens is in this new framework, where we as teachers or we as the real people, the teacher fraternity, and we are none but we are the human natural what resources of intelligence when compared to the artificial intelligence. It is just after all artificial intelligence, as I said, maybe it is speeded up and all those things, but still it cannot, break us anyhow. And as AI becomes the more embedded in classrooms around the world, of course, it's going to take a higher position because of the scientific advancements and all those things. But we have to understand its role in shaping the future of English pedagogy, which is not going to be, just an optional thing, but of course, it is the need of the hour. We do understand because when all other countries are proceeding and developing and they are trying to implement this AI into their educational scenario, we cannot just keep our fingers crossed. We should also have to invite ourselves to learn these things, the usage of these things, how much and how far we can use it, and all those criteria we have to look into. And of course, as I said yesterday, I think I needn't dwell upon this particular word as to what we mean by the word chatbots. So once again, for people who missed it, of course, this is the main thing, which is going to be the language pedagogy and an interactive AI tool, the chatbots, which is an AI tool, which is going to engage in students, which is going to stimulate their dialogues, offering immediate feedbacks and creating personalized learning paths based on the learner's input and, of course, his or her language proficiency. So, with that, we move on to like what is our objective? How are we going to tackle this particular situation of this AI and its emergence? So, we are going how we are going to explore on this particular field. So, to explore the potentials of this AI technologies in enhancing the teaching and learning of English, particularly in terms of language acquisitions, students engagement. So these are the areas which we have to concentrate on. how we are going to execute the student, how we are going to engage him for his learning process and other things. We have to analyze how these AI tools such as chatbots, language processing systems, speech recognitions, as well as the adaptive learning platform, how far it can be effectively used or integrated into the English language pedagogy. So this is going to be our main objective in the near future of handling the classrooms and to evaluate the changing role of English teachers. So we are going to, take on a new mask of ourselves, I think so, to how to battle or how to really conquer this particular concept of AI. So it is going to be nothing but AI assisted classrooms. Like how we said, if you just turn back and remember this particular abbreviation, like for instance, CAT, we say computer assisted teaching, no? Or computer aided teaching. Likewise, so this AI is going to be one more of our, let's imagine or let's visualize and also hope that it is really going to set us or make us, reach the pinnacle of glory in the path of teaching. With this emphasis on the shift from the instructor, so we are not just going to be the instructors alone. We are going to take a new shape. What is it? The facilitators. We are going to become the mentors and, of course, a critical thinker. We are going to enable each and every student in the classroom not to be idle, like not to be a passive listener, not to be just, sometimes they are physically present, mentally absent. No, not at all like that. We are going to ensure that each and every child puts in his or her effort. Okay. And we are going to kindle their thought process, like, the critical thinking. Of course, this word critical thinking, I keep on telling my students also, where there are different formats of thinking style, like we say correlative thinking, which is very good an exercise for memory or how to memorize or keep things in your mind. That is a very important methodology of thinking. There are different patterns of thinking. Then we say convergent thinking, divergent thinking, linear thinking, parallel thinking, and of course this critical thinking. Every child should take it, because today we all know that it is actually becoming a commercialized concept today. Education is no longer going to be like, as we were in our days. Gone are those days when we were in schools and colleges. Now it is taking on to a new platform where I think there's a building coming up in our college also. They have said that it's a commercialized research center. They are just, stepping in, making new words and so many things. So the critical thinker here, he's just not going to be, a thinking person or a person with more of cognitive skill. More of a critical thinking he should possess. Otherwise, in the near future of the competitive world, he cannot survive. More than surviving, the sustainability, the employability, all these concepts we have to think about. So, to examine the pedagogical benefits and the limitations of using AI in language education, including the issues related to motivation, learning outcomes, and the student autonomy. So, to identify the ethical, and this is the next very important objective which we have to all, think or ponder on. That is the ethical and equity concerns which is going to be associated with the use of AI in education, such as data privacy. So, all of us know these terms already. Yes or no? So, as data privacy is very important, then the algorithmic bias and access disparities. So, these three things we have to keep in mind whenever we are using the AI in our future. So, the next things which I would like to just make a note on is the analysis which I've made, about how far this has reached, or how people are analyzing at the global market, the global AI in education. So I said, I think we now know certain terminologies like we say that education is no longer, like edutainment, or it's not going to be just self-seeking, we are all learning with passion, and all those words are all going to be just wiped out, because education has become more of a commercial base these days. And we know ranking systems, we know how each and every institution is, craving for the A grade, A plus, and all those things in terms of NAC or NIRF or whatever be it. So in that way, so it is not only pertaining to educational scenario. I think even nowadays, God marketing is also widespread. So that is just besides the point which I would like to touch upon. God marketing, and everywhere it's becoming, marketing business like. So everybody thinks in commercial basis, the materialistic approach, the materialistic, the outcome. People's mind is all, being so crooked, rather than being more of a broad-minded attitude. So based on that concept, the global AI in today's educational market, what has been estimated, we took, I just took some views regarding that. So it just points out this kind of, 5.88 billion, imagine, and that too in which year? Already in 2024, which is projected to reach around 32 point. So you can see how much there's going to be a growth, a billion times by 2030. So these things which we cannot decipher, I think so. I think the more of a commerce person might. So we could just imagine the growth, how far it's going to go up in 2030, and by the time in 2033 also. So we have to, really arm ourselves, prepare, equip ourselves, like how should we go to a classroom fully armed? Fully armed in what manner? To equip ourselves in these kinds of pedagogies, how to approach AI, how to, handle these AI tools, in order to make the students more what? More of a person who's going to become a critical thinker, and he has to be, he has to use his own way of application of knowledge, rather than the teacher all the time prompting, or the teacher all the time teaching, and he derives nothing. Now there's the total goal, or the path of education is going to be defeated. So it's a greater challenge which is going to rest on our shoulders, I suppose. And so the impact on learning outcomes and the engagement is going to be like this, where the adapting learning platforms, especially in language education, have shown up to 62% of an increase in the test scores, and 30 percentage grade improvements, and 20 reduced anxiety in learners. So how far these details we have noted down, analysis was made when this topic I had selected. I was trying to, research on these things and find out these the outcome of it. And AI part content, how the recommendations can boost the students' engagement by at least up to 40 percentage, it seems. And AI-driven tutoring systems have improved student outcomes by up to at least 50%, while the teacher admin workload can drop by 30%. So that is what the AI and all the researchers, the educators, and all the pillars of this educational system, they are just working on behind the screen, where they are pointing out that the workload of the teachers would come down. They are saying we don't know until we really experience it. So that factor, after some few years only, we can, maybe we can proclaim. And then of course the generative AI tutoring tools. So these are the tools which are already into the other foreign countries. Actually my friends, even I was just discussing yesterday, two of my friends in Auckland, and one more person in she's in US, and she was telling about these kinds of tools and how far they are implementing it already, it seems, in fourth grade, and all she was saying. And so we have to also learn this. So many other tools are there, as I was pointing out yesterday also. There are umpteen number of tools of AI, maybe how far we can learn. And this actually is not the end, this topic. We are just, It's like a wee bit of what we are trying to put into our heads. There's lots and lots more to explore on this AI, the tools of AI, and there are many colleges which are also offering courses on AI where students are already taken up. There are lots of engineering courses on AI. I'm sure most of your students or relatives or sons or daughters might also be learning. So we have to uh, probably learn or get to know the pattern of it. Maybe if I get hold of it, I'll try to share to most of our fraternity of teaching members. Anyway, so this generative AI tutoring tools, one is named here, Cinti, and reduced, this is actually the study time where 27% of distance learning students after 3 months, I suppose. And so based on all this, see so many things, propping up. And of course, the global usage trends, and of course, the regional imbalance. What is it going to happen? While AI adoption is booming in developed regions, the infrastructure gaps persist elsewhere. So it is, everybody, every institution is now going to fight against not only implementing and, of course, learning, and even there are other zones which they have to probe into the infrastructures and how they are going to tackle all these things. So the UNESCO of 2024 at that particular time, what have they reported? It says that over 40% of schools in low and middle income countries lack the digital infrastructure. See, this is what is the finding. And to fully implement the AI in classroom, this raises concern about an AI divide in education, especially for the non-English speaking rural population. So there are two things which we have to tackle. One is infrastructure, how we are going to combat this, and the other one is the non-English speaking people who are particularly in the rural areas. How are they going to tackle this? Because there are people who have to really, compete with this factor. Another thing is the aspects of the AI integration. So, how is AI and the artificial intelligence, how is it going to be integrated? Of course, it has transformed the English language learning by offering the personalized, adaptive experiences. As I said, I think I said this point yesterday also. And there are tools like Grammarly, Quill. You can kindly note down this. This is what one of the experts in the language lab was pointing out to me yesterday also. He says that, of course, Grammarly we are quite aware of, Quill, then Elsa, and these are all the things which gives you what kind of a training. The Speak provide real-time feedback on writing, particularly in pronunciations, such as Duolingo. I think that we are familiar with, and of course, ChatGPT. Most of us are, of course, already using it, and the support. These are all the supportive, interactive, self-paced learning things. These technologies promote student-centered learning. Please note on that point where we are going to, that is what happens. Instead of teacher-center, there is a radical shift or a change in the scenario of educational where we are going to be more bothered with student centered rather than teacher centered. Student centered learning, enabling what all? Autonomy, the confidence, and of course, the full involvement or the engagement of the students. So, AI also facilitates differentiated instructions, making language learning more inclusive for students with varied proficiencies or learning challenges. So, this is the next thing that we are probing into, that is, with varied proficiencies of learning and how they are going to really, with differentiated instructions, making the learning more inclusive, especially for the varied proficiencies of uh, or the learning challenges of students. Then again, in the classroom, what is going to happen is the AI tools and the educators from repetitive tasks, allowing them to focus on critical thinking, creative expressions, and deeper learner engagement. Now, here I do not know whether you have the doubt of where comes this creative expression with the role of AI. of course, we have to introduce again and again. I'm repeatedly telling you all that though AI is going to be just a tool, we have to encourage, we have to support the students to utilize his creative skills first of all in all the LSRW skills. Then the assessments is going to become faster for us, of course, more accurate, of course, with the AI driven platforms like this. I think we are familiar with, no? The Turnitin, then Versant, the grade scopes. These are all the tools, of course, for the accuracy in getting the assessments. We assess our students through these kinds of tools. And of course, which analyzes grammar. So these tools are all going to do what kind of analysis, like how we test our students with the papers, the objective questions or descriptive questions. I don't know how many institutions have already taken up MCQ pattern. Our college is already following that new educational policy system where full and full the student takes up. I think this is almost from December. We have started from January, this 2025. Already we have started this MCQ pattern only. But I would say, as I'm teaching or handling these law students, the main skill which they have to develop is nothing but the drafting skill. But as a teacher, it is very painful to see that this drafting skill is really going down, and because of this MCQ pattern. So, what I have planned as a teacher of English languages, I even tell my students, no, I will give you at least 4 to 5 tests in the class of a slot where you please learn subjective questions, that is descriptive questions. And with a big frown, of course, they write, but I make them, I enable them to write it in the class timing itself. And of course, I also encourage open book tests and closed book tests also. Anyway, so this is going to help them not only in what the grammar assessment, the fluency assessments, and of course, the originality with all kinds of precisions we are going to get this. So this is something where we can really keep a eye on. And ultimately, the AI not only enhances the outcomes, but also reshapes the pedagogy. So we can, I think you can all now itself visualize. You should just imagine how your classrooms are going to be after this AI implementation, and positioning teachers as facilitators and the students as active parts. They are going to become more active participants rather than being passive. Because when the teacher is going to domineer in the classroom, what happens is they just keep, silent or mum by just listening, and they become totally passive listeners. Anyway, that was also a success. Then you can also ask me a question. Then how did we all gain knowledge, ma'am? Because we all learned under the traditional methods, we remember. But the days are changing, so we have to welcome some of the changes for the betterment of the students' life. Anyway, so it is going to actually make us what facilitators, and of course the students more active participants. And there's the last one, that is they are going to become what more tech integrated learning environment we are going to create. So this is the last word, the golden word of the implementation of AI into the classroom. So what is going to happen? The tech integrated learning environment we are going to step into, or that is what is going to really become the near future of our classrooms. Finally, the benefits of the AI in English language learning. Of course, the notable advances, as we said, is personalization, the platforms which adopt a learner's pace, the style, and the level of understanding. Of of course, this. I think as teachers we might have seen the learner's pace, because each and every individual is a unique package or a unique pattern. No individual is, there's no similarity even between homogeneous twins, we say, because the learning pattern, the pace in which they learn, all that is going to be different. So, how we are going to set these platforms for such kinds of learners, like their pace, their style, their level of understanding. we have to cater to all these needs, offering customized content and practice exercises. So, this is what the teacher's role is for the near future. We should know how to tackle, and then the tools like Grammarly or Quill, it is going to provide a real-time grammar and writing feedbacks, helping students learn from their mistakes as they work. So earlier it was like we point out the mistakes. So when they use these AI tools, they slowly also understand their own mistakes because it's going to point out to them. Because when we tell them, they feel a little bit hurt. At times they become, a little bit shy, or they have certain inhibitions and all those factors, which is slowly going to be wiped out. So they will be checked by these tools, and that is not going to anyway hurt them. Maybe they take it up sportively, and they will improvise themselves also. And the pronunciation focus apps. This is the app which is going to help them in their pronunciations, and that is Elsa and SpeakQ's AI-powered speech recognition to correct and improve the spoken English, also giving learners the opportunity to practice outside the classroom. So this is another arena where it is not only going to be an inside classroom, like the student or the child can go outside also and practice, or maybe if he is really concerned about his growth, he can practice outside the classroom and of course improve his skills. Then the AI also supports differentiated learning, accommodating students with different levels of proficiency or learning challenges, ensuring no learner is left behind. So we are not going to, leave any child alone or aloof, and the combination of the instant feedback. So this is what is the major advantage of this AI. The immediate feedbacks which they receive, that is really going to kindle a lot of interest in the students' mind, and the visual cues that they get. Then, of course, already we are into this gamified learning. We said, um, I think we use this in our classrooms also with the help of smart boards, and lots of gamified tools are there. For language games are there. How many of you are trying it? We do not know. Anyhow, now this will, probably even today I did that in my classroom, where all the time, giving them some teaching, or teaching so many facts about law and English and all those things. I spent some time with them by playing such games. So, of course, I see more of an involvement there. So that is also very interesting note to note in students' mind. And the voice interactivity makes the AI tools not only efficient but also engaging, and more learner-friendly atmospheres created into the classrooms. That is what we are bothered about in today's session. The types of AI tools used in language pedagogy. So I've already spelled out this almost. Then there is something called as, you can see in English communication with immediate corrections are possible. Then the speech recognition systems like the Google speech to text. This is one. Then we have the next one is Microsoft's Azure cognitive services. And of course we have, there are lots of things even spelled out by the Cambridge. um, I think, how many of you have attempted this kind of a course? We do not know. A Cambridge test and that Cambridge University, which prompts lots of packages for teachers also. And then, of course, chat, everybody is aware of Duolingo. And then the next one is LinkQ. That's something which is not so much in wide usage, but we have to get to know all this. Okay, and you can just jot down these things. And of course, AI based assessment tools such as I spelled earlier already, Turnitin. So these are all used, for kind of to check, as we say, even in SSL we practice this research, no. So every child, we tell them to give a plagiarism report also in the last page of their research sheets. So this has already been practiced, and these tools collectively create a rich, immersive, and of course, responsive language learning environment. Then the traditional versus AI based pedagogy. So as we kept on comparing and telling you all how it is actually being taught earlier and how we are going to face this AI implemented pedagogy system in the near future. All that more we are going to create a sort of a peer centered, peer group learning. This is what it is going to assure more than the teacher center. It is going to be peer learning center. Okay. And of course, AI and student centered learning. So this is what we can focus our thoughts on now. AI is certainly going to support every student. This is for assured or guaranteed thing, where student centered learning is what is going to be the paradigm shift that we are going to notice in the near future, where the learners are going to be more empowered. Already we can see that. I don't know, even if we feel somewhat maybe we don't want to reveal the truth, like, we might say that we are all very learned people, experienced people. We are also handling these kinds of digital technological things into our hands. But I would say, I think the students are uh, quick enough to catch up and to, practice it when compared to our elderly people, maybe. So this is maybe we cannot give this as an excuse hereafter. So we have also got to learn. Maybe even if really we need to learn, that needn't be, any kind of a kind of a gap between a teacher or a thing. Sometimes certain facts when students tell us no, we do accept. We can of course grab something from them, though not directly revealing it. Probably, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So, they are learners where they are empowered actually to take up the ownership of their educational journey. So, they are more pretty cautious. These students of today, they are unlike, us. So, they are pretty well versed in the usage of the technologies, I feel. Then, platforms like ChatGPT, then Replica, Duolingo, they all offer what kind of self-directed mode of engagements, and where they are focusing, we can see more on vocabulary. Of course, these are the areas which any English teacher would try to tackle on. That is vocabulary, grammar, speaking skills, and how their conversational style is, and most of those things. And the AI tool adapts, based on students' responses. So, based on their responses, they will also be assessed and so on. Then, this shift towards what is going to happen, the shift which we are already, we are waiting to notice this shift, and it is really going to, go far off, where most of the classrooms are going to become what? Uh, Not like those days classrooms where every time the teacher talks, nothing like that. So here, the learner, the student is going to become more of an active learner, and he's going to really enjoy his method of learning. Okay, where it encourages the students to explore. He himself is going to, engage in the process of exploring the language. So this is what is the assurance that this AI promises, maybe outside or be it inside, with what? The curricula that he's going to handle, and supporting not only just for the short-lived learning period of time alone, maybe this is going to, enhance his lifelong learning. So that is what it is paving in a way for them. And AI in assessment, I told you. So as teachers, what we do in our everyday's life, we know at the end of every session or a period of time, there is something called as assessment. It can be formative assessment or it can be diagnostic assessment, whatever be the assessment. How we are going to tackle this particular concept of assessment with the usage of AI. The AI systems, it's going to conceptualize the traditional modes of assessment by shifting from episodic summative evaluations, which we were doing this already, the summative ones, of evaluating system to ongoing formative monitoring of the learner performance. So that is what is the change, first change, rather than relying slowly on the standardized tests which we conduct, no, those kinds of tests. These systems continuously analyze user interactions such as the keystroke patterns, response latency, speech pauses, recurring linguistic errors, okay, which comes across in multiple tasks. So all this, the this AI, they have certain kinds of maybe the assessing models. The modules are going to be set in, and they will be practicing it, exploring it, and finally they will be assessed also. Then the resulting data, which is going to be generated, of course, it gives a detailed learner profile. So they will also know how they are improving, like a graphical representation they'll be having. Maybe their marks will be compared, correlated, and spelled out. So they are going to learn very clearly their profiles about their own their results, okay, including their proficiency, the heat maps, the longitudinal process, and the progress of the trajectories. And these are all the nuances which every individual as a learner, the learning curves, which I think you would have learned in our B.Ed and all, the learning curves, then the pedagogy, how they are learning, how is the learning process taking place, this the graphical method, of assessing. With this curve and learning curve and all, they'll come to know whether they are progressing or developing or declining. So the child himself or herself will know when and where to put in more effort. So this is what the AI is promising, I believe. And this level of diagnostic precision allows for a highly targeted pedagogical interventions. So this is going to really what? Tap out, okay? And enable him or her to what? To follow the instructors, to design the follow-up activities. So see, this is what is it, it's going to assure us all about. The follow-up activities, the differentiated tasks, a small group support tailored to specific needs, thereby fostering more responsive and equitable language instruction. So this is what is expected in the assessment process. And AI and cross-cultural communication. So we all know the pragmatic level of understanding, the competencies, as I said yesterday, how the world is going to take a turn. Then English being a global language, we all know that. And it allows the learners to interact different dialects. So this is again another area of problem where the accents, then I think we know already the standardized English is nothing but British English. It has already got the benchmark, that British English is the standardized English we all believe, though we all do understand that American English is, trying to supersede. It is actually overpowering nowadays, but still it hasn't got that benchmark. So keeping that in mind, many students they do know. For example, there are many words which we can prompt and say, like, for instance, the word schedule and the word schedule and many things like that. Even the terms also. For instance, the word faucet and the word tap. The word tap is British, more of a British terminology rather than the word faucet. Many things are there which we can't probe in for the time being. The dialects, the accents, the pronunciations, many things which students have to learn. When we speak, no, they just lend not a full year for us, maybe, no. So when AI is going to point out, maybe they learn it because there are all kinds of speech engines which is going to prompt them, and the child maybe invariably he will also prompt in his mind. He will pick up. He will also spell out the word. Okay. For example, the AI chatbots can be programmed in such a way to reflect the British, the American, or the Indian English. I think we are quite familiar with these three kinds of English more than the other. There are different patterns of English. All of us might have understood that, where we have the Moroccan English, the African, the Australian, many kinds of accents, dialects, and all, which we know. So, British, American, of course, our Indianized English we know. These styles, which provides the learners with an exposure to the global varieties of learning. So, this capability enhances the learner's pragmatic competence. So that's why we keep on saying that today English and the competencies which it involves. There are so many things, the minute intricacies which a child doesn't know. When we start or when we attempt teaching grammar, then the fellow really understands. For the simple thing I would like to highlight here, for instance, the word, whenever we add the word, whenever we add the suffix s to any noun, for instance, fan, it's singular, fans is plural. So we add an s in the case of plurality. But imagine this, the child, just picks up and he just wears this kind of blinkers, all the time he thinks that whenever there is an s added on, he believes that word to be a plurality. Then we have to point out to the student saying that now this is only possible or feasible in the case of nouns, not in the case of verbs. For instance, he come, I'm sorry, they come, we say they come early to class. The students come early to class. When it is plural, it is come, it is not comes. Similarly, if it is going to be he comes regularly to class, there is come, an s added on. So this factor, when I was teaching them, no, students, there is a total, difference. When s is added to a verb, it doesn't become plural. The fellow was really, contemplating. Oh, there are so many minute details which we have to learn, they think, and then they said, oh, really, ma'am, we didn't know this fact, they were saying. And I also pointed out, this is where most of you all commit errors in the usage of verbs and tenses. I was pointing out. Maybe I think the AI is really going to help a student on the pragmatic basis. These are all the little competencies which they have to learn. There are many components of the English language which makes this language, maybe apparently English appears to be a very easy language with just 26 alphabets. Not at all. It is more a competent language. That's why only when they learn it, into the depth of it, then they do understand all these things, which is so difficult for a layman to understand. Next, however, AI still struggles with cultural nuances, idiomatic expressions. So these are the minus points of AI. Okay, it is struggling. It cannot cope up with these areas like, okay, and the emotional tone, the underscoring, and the continued need for human intervention. So this is what I was trying to highlight yesterday also. There are so many umpteen number of advantages, maybe from the scientific point of these technological aspects, but still what happens in the case of human interventions is really we have to take more of a care, like it is struggling to cope up with the cultural aspects, the emotional aspects. uh, then, nevertheless, its ability to model international communication context is valuable in preparing learners for real world applications like travel, academic exchange, or global employment. So, these are what the pros and cons we were trying to look into. And of course, the curriculum integration. Now, that is going to be the headache of the maybe the planners, maybe the governments, maybe the staff, the stakeholders, of course, how they are going to implement, particularly in India with the NEP of 2020, the NEP policy of 2020, which is bringing in so many concepts. As I said, one is nothing but this MCQ pattern. And of course, the UK is already planning with the lots of skills plan they have. Then China has smart education initiative, and of course AI supported language labs are there. And there lots of changes are going to happen. Unlike those earlier English labs, which we all had already seen, that also there's going to be a total transition, and the digital textbooks we are going to be including into the curricula, and the virtual classrooms are now going to become a part of institutional infrastructure. However, so this is all going to be on these policy makers and of course the stakeholders, all the people who are involved in the educational background. So they are going to break their heads and they're already planning and framing for it. In some regions, the integration is still up at a pilot point or a pilot stage, and the teachers report uncertainty about which tools are pedagogically sound enough. So that is another question of which is going to be really of a greater usage for these students. The need for the educational policymakers to create clear, so this is what everybody is harping on. It should be creating a clear, inclusive, and forward-looking frameworks that which is really going to support the students on the ethical point of view, okay, and the effective usage of the AI. So two factors which we have to look into: how far it is going to be used by the student, and especially from the ethical point of view, and the teacher training. Of course, that's the next area where they have to probe into how far we are going to instruct, equip, or enable the teacher to be fully armed for this kind of a transition. So this is one more area. And then ethical considerations and responsible AI usage. Again, the same more points. How far the data is going to be secure enough, the academic settings in that point of view, and of course the linguistic biases. Maybe AI tools can inadvertently reinforce cultural or linguistic biases, leading to unfair assessments. So, all this we have to be pretty conscious about. And the digital divide, I spoke about this already, where there is going to be this going to be a creating a widening AI divide, where affluent learners benefit from the advanced tool, whereas the others maybe they fall behind. That's what this is also something which they're trying to frighten us about. So here again, as I said yesterday also, no, I was just talking about the heterogeneous kind of grouping of students. Some are very high achievers are there, low achievers are there, average learner is there. So different patterns of learners are there. How this AI is going to create a divide, we have to be very cautious about. And to ensure this AI doesn't become a tool of exclusion, maybe governments and NGOs must invest in infrastructure. Open source solutions should be adopted. And all this we have to keep in mind for tackling the AI implementation. And of course, the case studies and the successful integration of the AI in English pedagogy. So this is what I would like to probe into, where Singapore's Ministry of Education uses AI-powered speech tools to help the students master spoken English through structured, feedback-rich oral practices. So this is already into these parts of the places over the globe. So we can see Singapore's Ministry of Education, what it is trying to implement already. Then in Finland, AI writing tutors are part of the upper secondary English curricula. So that is one more thing which we can now notice. And of course, China is already progressing with the online education giants such as you can see that VIP Kid and Tall Education, TAL, okay, and the use of AI into the track reading fluency and vocabulary retention across millions of learners. So already they have started it. And these case studies reflect that when implemented thoughtfully, that is very important. Anything and everything, we cannot just take it for granted. It has to be implemented thoughtfully with teacher involvement and ethical safeguards. Again and again, this is the golden word of the whole AI system. We have to look into how far it is going to be implemented into the minds of the students, the younger minds we are handling, and of course, thoughtfully. Secondly, the ethical safeguards we have to probe into, and the AI can significantly improve students' engagement, assessment quality, and learning efficiency also. So, these are the challenges of how to face. Okay. Um, so the incorporation of AI often meets resistance due to the structural and psychological barriers. I said about this emotional factor, no, and the teachers may feel threatened by the technology. We need not. We should fully get armed. That's very very important, and that appears to replace them. So I think all of us have got this into our minds invariably, no, that fear whether this AI is going to replace us. I think it runs into everybody's mind, even my own mind, I feel, because we do not know how it is going to take a shape. Okay. But let's be confident that we can tackle it. And of course, they cannot replace us. They may be untrained, maybe in digital platform. For the more rigid national curricula, so that's very important. It is in the hands of these educators and the curriculum framing people. So they have to look into it more seriously. And also, as I keep on telling, English is nothing but it is a skill based subject, unlike any other subject, because all other subjects are content based. Only English is more skill based subject. So we should know how to really take the students into that path. And of course, maybe AI should support us in that scenario. Anyway, in schools and colleges where infrastructure is poor or where administrators are skeptical, how this AI tools are going to be. Yes, this is another fact which I didn't spell out. Imagine we cannot just say AI is going to really take over and improvise the whole system of education, because there are still certain places where they do not have these a good infrastructure of an institution. Many imagine in rural areas what's going to happen for those kinds of students, how they are going to be tackling those problems. We do not know unless and until we face it. Then of course, how to handle certain students with challenging background, like dyslexical students, then the neurodiversity, and there are so many things. Like, as teachers, we have already heard of these terms like dyslexia, ADHD, autism, and all these kinds of students who have, you know, a problem with the learning. They are not so receptive in learning. There are lots of challenges for such kind of children. And of course, they are saying that this AI is also going to be what a favorable thing for such kinds of students. They are saying, so let's hope for that also, where it is going to probe into such kinds of children with learning deficit problems, like no, yeah, and again. We can see how pronunciation and all those things with the help of AI, where more of this phonetics is going to be drilled into their mind, and they can all understand the usage of vowels and consonant sounds and all those things like stress, intonation, stress shift, and all those things, which we are, of course, teaching in the UG and PG level. And so I think we have covered almost most of the things, like, and how AI is going to fuel all the corpus based the vocabulary, the journals, and of course AI, the learners, they need a new word, say, let's say, inevitable, and the AI automatically provides concordance lines from the academics and fiction sources, common collocates. Okay, so these are the areas which we have to see how there's going to be a total change, like, okay, register based usage tips. Then we have the synonym distinction from So these are all the AI fueled the journals which they can look upon. And so the last thing which we can, of course, practice into our teaching is gamification of English, certainly using the AI tools like syntax. So you can just jot down these things like syntax scramble, we have context chameleon, we have. So these are all targeting one, each of these tools targets upon, let's say, grammar, word order, syntax. You can see that which I've listed out. The target is pragmatics, register, tone modulation, what we call it as voice modulations. So it is supportive enough for these kinds of practices. These tools are, these are all gamification tools. And of course, the lexical ladders, which is paving way for vocabulary or diction. And many things are there. Okay. Then there is something as, I don't know how many of you as teachers we practice the students to create stories, or we start, or we ask them to create even very brief line, just 5 or 10 lines of poetry writing, any creative writing. I just tell them, maybe report writing. So all those kinds of things we can. So for that sake we have this story scaffold challenge. So these are all the gamification tools for narrative, for growing their narrative skills. And while narrating, the first and foremost thing which they have to look into is the cohesion and the creativity, the order of the thinking style, all those things which they focus on. And I think I needn't outline the limitations. Already it was all said. Um, Maybe the limitation can result in what way, to put it in a nutshell, we can say, is that it can result in misinterpretations, maybe especially in literature based learning. There, I don't know whether it can really work out tremendous, or bringing out good results. We do not know. Maybe the assessing creative writing expressions, AI may struggle to evaluate in this way. I think so when it comes to literature. And of course, the figurative language like metaphor and all those usage, then how it can tackle humor, because as I said, it's after all AI, or the culturally embedded things and expressions, all this, it's going to be a challenge for the AI, surely. So this is where we can, lift our collars and say, we are people who are going to use our intelligence and not AI intelligence. Okay. So to conclude on the whole, so the integration of artificial intelligence into language, especially the English language teaching, marks a significant shift in the classroom dynamics. So this is what we are all now, preparing ourselves, maybe mentally, and so many ways we are trying to search, we are trying to fit in ourselves, and offering personalized, interactive, and efficient learning experiences. So AI tools, as I said already, all these tools, okay, they are going to enhance our language skills, and of course reducing the repetitive tasks, okay, the stereotype of teaching. It's going to really avoid all those kinds of things. And as a result, the teacher's role evolves from the content deliverer to a learning facilitator. So this is the main thing which this AI is trying to bring about. Okay. And we are going to be digital guides and facilitators, of course. However, challenges such as unequal access, algorithmic bias, and over dependence on AI remain pressing concerns. Okay. So you can just see the future is going to be in balancing technology with pedagogy. So how we are going to balance it? Of course, it's a challenge using AI as a collaborative tool rather than a substitute. Please understand, my dear teachers. And for English classrooms to thrive, both technological advancement and human centered teaching must go hand in hand. Ultimately, reimagining the classroom means creating a space where innovation empowers, not replacing the human connections. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So it was really an
Thank you.
interesting and an informative session, ma'am. And with that, thanks for reinforcing the statement that AI is just a collaborative tool and it is not a substitute. So thank you very much, ma'am. Now it
Yes,
is a question and answer session.
yes,
And dear faculty members, dear teaching fraternity, if you have any doubts or any suggestions, or you can you can ask, you can raise your hands so that we will unmute you and you can answer.
yes. I can even welcome these suggestions, sir, because teacher they might have more of an interactive session,
Exactly.
like yeah, they can also share lots of
Exactly,
views.
ma'am.
Teachers might know.
Exactly.
Everybody knows much. I believe in that.
Generally, the aim of faculty development program is not an on-site communication. It is
Yeah,
like
it's not communication.
sharing the thought exactly one way
Yes, sir. Yes,
exactly.
sir.
Thank
Yes, sir.
you.
Rightly said.
So, people, if you want, you can unmute yourself and you can raise your hand so that we'll unmute you and then you can talk. You can ask any questions or suggestions or whatever it is. We will also accept the feedback because feedback is a breakfast of the champion. So we, the champions, we never fail to take our breakfast. So is there any feedback from the audience side? Or if you feel like you can type the question in the chat box so that we will read and then we will ask her a question.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am, please. You can introduce
Yes, ma'am.
yourself. And yes, ma'am.
Yes. Uh, Good evening, ma'am. I'm Charlata from Nandanam College. Ma'am, first of all, I thank you for wholeheartedly for a captivating presentation. My doubt is if AI reduces teachers' workload, is it possible that the remuneration given to the teachers will also go down? Uh, can you please share your opinion about this in the near
No,
future? I'm not.
no,
Yes, ma'am.
certainly not, ma'am.
Okay.
Because already we are practicing this in our college.
Okay,
I
ma'am.
think they assess our even our skills in handling these things. No, it
Yes, yes,
also
yes.
involves. It calls for the
It is a
efficiency of.
challenging task.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
ma'am. So they are
Yes, ma'am.
testing in us in that part also, ma'am. So I feel
Okay, ma'am.
we need to, yeah, we need to learn all those ways of handling the technological based tools or whatever be it, so that they are invariably assessing us. So I don't think our scale of pay or remuneration will go down. Maybe instead of all the time talking, as I said yesterday, also I was just pointing out this. Initially, when I stepped into SSL, I was just
Yes.
going on teaching for 1.5 hours. Actually, the
Hmm.
session goes up to 1.5 hours. I was teaching
Okay,
at least
ma'am.
for 1 hour. Then only I came to know within a week or so that the teaching part is only for 40 minutes. The rest is on the student's point of view, where we give them activities through the technology. It's all, they
Okay,
never
ma'am.
carry books at all, ma'am. So I don't say
Okay,
that.
ma'am.
I think we get a very attractive salary only, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Probably, I'm only hoping, ma'am. That's my prayers too.
Yes.
Like I hope all other colleges they increase, because I heard most of the colleges are not paying the teachers well. That is something where we slog the whole day, but we are not
Okay, ma'am.
paid well. The maximum goes to 30, no, ma'am. That isn't
Okay.
an attractive salary, or 35 isn't an attractive salary. So I'm only praying every day. I'm also telling my friends. I call my friends also, please come and engage yourselves in colleges like this. So try, seek. There are lots of universities which is coming up, ma'am. Now, so
Okay,
try,
ma'am.
seek. Surely our level will never go down, ma'am. I can
Thank
really
you, ma'am.
say that with, yeah, with more of an emphasis and emphatic way.
Yes, ma'am. You have given some hope to the teaching fraternity.
Sure,
Stress.
ma'am.
That
Let's
is.
hope for the best.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you
Thank you,
so
ma'am. It
much, ma'am.
was a lovely interaction. So I think, there is no question in the chat box too. And we have lots and lots of appreciation, like it is thought-provoking session, an informative session, an interesting session. So I think with this note, I can switch over to the word of thanks because we know the sternest situation of a long weekend and during a Friday evening. Thank you, team, and thank you everyone for participating in this FDP. And madam, a special thanks to you for reinforcing the fact that in the world of AI, the teacher is no more a sage on the stage. He or she is a guide on the side. And thank you for linking the connection between AI and NIRF NAC ranking too, because hereafter the NAC visits will be online and AI-driven visits. And of course, we should never forget about the student-centric learning. And also, thank you for pinpointing the digital infrastructure. So not only the chairs and tables are important, even the cables are also important. And thanks for talking about various types of AI tools and its usage also. And also, thank you for talking about the usage of AI in different countries and in different levels. Ultimately, you have focused on the word ethics, which is missing nowadays. So even though we have AI, we should you have ethics so that how to use, how not to use it. And also, I would like to stress on the point nowadays, even in schools, the lesson plans are integrated with AI. And thank you for reinforcing the gamification and the storytelling technique, and also collaborating. At last, we have concluded with the point that is AI is just a collaborating tool and not a substitute. So, thank you very much, ma'am. It was really an informative and interesting sessions for the last 2 days. Thank you very much. Participants, your feedback link is posted in the group. You can fill it. And with all our cheers, ma'am is leaving the session. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your appreciative words. I'm so honored, and my heartfelt gratitude to all the members, the organizing team, and the participants. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Let's meet in some other events like this. Thank
Sure,
you.
sir. Sure, sir.
So, dear participants, your QR code for the feedback has been displayed, so you can fill in the feedback.